Hi, I am currently going to be interviewing Poon of You Love Poon. He is actually a DJ that I met in during one of my walks. So the reason I'm actually doing these interviews, talking to local businesses, is because I started this back in February to help them get more business. Because in my area, in the Lower East Side of Chinatown, there are not a lot of foot traffic going around, and I figured this is a way to help get how businesses got started and get them on video, and I'll have whoever's watching it to actually give the people I'm interviewing check out the businesses and get to know the people. So, Poon, welcome.
Thank you.
So
I
one of the
appreciate you having me.
My pleasure. So I came in contact with you almost about a month and a half ago, and I found that you were DJing over at a location down on the Lower East Side.
hmm
How long have you been doing DJ?
I've been DJing over 2 decades now.
2 decades?
Yeah, so probably over 20 something years.
Wow. How did you get started?
I started when I was in high school. It was just a hobby of mine. And one of my friend's older brother was a DJ,
Okay.
and they were in a DJ crew. So I would always hang out at their place. And when the brother was gone, we would just mess around with the turntables. But honestly, it was just a love for music at that time. I would just listen to the radio and record it on cassette. Sorry,
Now don't worry about it.
ambulance in the background. So yeah, basically it was just, just for fun. It was a hobby at one point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So take me through a progression. How did you from high school and then down to
Yeah, so high school, I was just practicing. Eventually, his brother actually taught me and him how to actually DJ. And I actually joined the DJ crew at that time to also learn about music production, how to plug in all the chords and everything. And I combined that with my love of music. And I didn't really actually DJ in front of like people because I was actually super terrified and all that. Probably until a 16 birthday. Oh no, actually 18th birthday, a cotillion.
that's like about 2 years, about 3, 4 years later, I think.
Yeah. So
Okay.
towards the end of high school, maybe my senior year.
Okay.
And after that, for college, I was going to school at San Jose State. Um, and I was taking classes in radio broadcasting.
Okay.
And that's when I actually kind of learned the business of it in music. And so I continued in radio broadcasting and actually worked for Clear Channel Radio,
Oh
which
wow.
is
Okay.
now iHeartRadio.
Mm-hmm.
I was an intern for the first year or two, and then I started working for them as an employee for about 5 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that was my first foot in the door in the real industry in music.
Okay. And where did
Yeah.
you go from there?
From there,
Yeah. What I want to hear the story.
yeah, no, from there it was like, yeah, it was basically around that time I quit the radio station and I started working for a company that was making games for Tila Tequila on MySpace.
Okay. Oh wow.
So that was like early tech boom era.
Uh huh.
And so that didn't work out very well for me because I didn't really love it. I had a big passion for music.
Okay.
And so I decided to move to New York City in 2010.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm born and raised in San Francisco,
Okay.
but I always have a love for New York, and it was always my dream. So yeah, 2010, I made the big move, and I haven't left since.
Wow. So have you? So when did you actually get into your own business?
Well, I kind of did it just for fun,
Okay.
when I first moved here. And that's hence the name. My company name is You Love Poon.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a twist on, my last name, which is Poon. So everybody's always like, "Oh, what's your DJ name? What's your name?" I'm like, Poon. And it's like, "Oh, is that really your name?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." Yeah, it's my family name from my father from China. Um, And so that was kind of a catchy way just to get my name out the door,
Okay.
and so that people would remember me. When I was first DJing here in New York, I didn't have a lot of gigs.
Okay.
And in 2010, CDs were still relevant at the time. So I would pass out mixed CDs,
Okay.
just to get my name out there. And
So you would stand on like the street corners and handing out CDs.
Well, I would go up to club promoters
Okay.
and go to clubs physically and just pass out my CD.
Okay.
So there was actually one club. It was called White Rabbit. It's on East Houston Street. And I went up to them about 3 or 4 times, and they would say no every time. But finally, I think after bugging them for the 4th time, they actually said yes. And that was actually the first bar club that I spun at in 2010 here in New York City.
Wow. So persistency paid off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe I just caught them on a good day. Maybe they're in a good mood. He was eating pizza that day. So maybe that's what did it.
Okay. So what kind of so where have you played at? You played at a mall?
Yeah. So throughout the 10 years, I've progressed a lot from just DJing at a tiny bar.
Okay.
I've DJ'd for many big clients. I DJ on a regular basis for Viacom, which is MTV, Nickelodeon.
Oh wow.
Also DJ for Facebook and Away Luggage and so on.
Okay.
So yeah, I also DJ a lot of bars, a lot of clubs, a lot of events, a lot of fundraisers, especially in the past 2 years. I've been doing a lot of Asian American Pacific Islander fundraisers.
Okay.
So that's my main thing, is to help the community. And
you do anything with weddings?
2020, all my weddings have canceled that year. In the past 2 weeks, I think me and my business partner have booked like 5 weddings.
Oh wow.
So yeah, all the canceled weddings are all
let me ask you, how I don't know too much about DJs and stuff like that. I'm always intrigued by how you guys actually do your keyboards and come up with the music and get the crowd going. What goes through your mind when you're actually working with a crowd?
Yeah, so the when you see DJs, they're smiling, or they got their hands up, or they're
very energetic.
Head. Yeah, actually, they're really thinking about the next 2 songs.
Okay.
So if you ever speak to a DJ while they're in the groove and they're DJing, it's very hard for them to actually respond with a real answer for you.
Okay.
Because they're actually paying attention to the crowd and paying attention to what's the next song that's gonna make everybody dance and feel good and have a good time.
So you have like a routine of songs that you're gonna play in your mind already.
Actually, not a routine. It's just like a kind of a response to say like, all right, let's say it's somebody's birthday. Okay. And there's a bunch of people dancing and having a good time. Well, you want to follow up with the next good song that's going to be in that same happy groove move with them, and play something that's very similar, and something that if they like this song, they're going to like. So It's not every set is exactly the same. Everything is kind of on the fly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Nothing's ever planned.
So what is your work schedule like?
Work schedule has been picking up now that New York City has opened up the hours, and capacity and all that. Definitely a year ago wasn't like this, but pretty much my schedule could go from Wednesday or Thursday all the way to Sunday, DJing every single day, either at a bar, club, event, wedding, etc.
You're hopping from one place to another during like the same day, or you'll have one gig for the whole day?
So let's just break down. Let's see, like this week, Thursday, I'm at this place called Love Barbecue.
Okay.
And that's in K-Town. And it's like a barbecue / club / bar restaurant. And Friday, as you know, I'm at the Market Line where I met you.
Yes.
And there's tons of food stalls and gifts that you could purchase there. And Saturday, I'll be DJing at Nordstrom, women's store. So I'm a resident DJ there each week. And after that, I'll be DJing at a club for my buddy's birthday. Not to mention that I also have a photo booth company. So I'll be setting up my photo booth there as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then on Sunday, I'll be back at the market line DJing for Southeast, which is the Asian market in the back downstairs. And that's for a fundraiser as well.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
I got a pretty loaded week.
Wow. So you're basically up until like the wee hours in the morning time and then sleeping like all the way through.
Yeah. 2019, we would DJ till 4 a.m.
Wow.
So now that the hours have changed, it fluctuated, from midnight. And I think after the 30th or the 31st, after Memorial Day weekend, I believe it's going to go back to 4 a.m. So I guess we have to adjust our sleep schedules now back to what it was.
So for someone who is actually listening to this and they want to become you, get into the DJ business, what would you advise them to do?
I would say that if I had to do this all over again,
yeah.
I should have and would have loved to have a mentor.
Okay.
I was pretty much self-employed. I did this all myself, but I met a lot of people along the way.
Okay.
And that was very helpful to my success. And I also interned at MTV, which I also met a lot of people. So interning and, working and DJing and watching people just doing it for free. And maybe for a club, if you're really interested in DJing for a club, open up for somebody, be willing to open up for the first hour when there's nobody at the club or there's 1 or 2 people. So that's always helpful. But a mentor, I believe, would be the best advice in getting into the industry or interning. Yeah.
Okay. What challenges have you come across in your endeavors in the last 20 years or so?
Man, probably, for New York City, it's such.
Besides the COVID part of it, I mean, you could.
Yeah, besides COVID, I would say it's a lot of competition here.
Okay.
But then again, there's enough opportunity for everybody too. But first moving here, I'm like the new kid, and nobody likes to hire the new kid, especially if you don't know anybody. And it's all about who you know sometimes.
Okay.
But also I learned throughout the years that it's the type of person that you are.
Okay.
So people aren't going to hire you just for your talent, but they're also going to hire you if you're a good person. So if you're a good person, you stay humble and people like you, they will hire you. That's just my take on it, I guess. But yeah, that was one option. And just that there are a lot of Asian DJs here. There's tons of us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of that. I did not.
Yeah, there are tons of Asian DJs and a lot of very talented ones too.
Oh, wow. What other obstacles have you come across? Tell me some more.
Yeah, I mean, those are the main obstacles right there. It's basically it's the competition here and being the new kid. And yeah, you have to have not only do you have to have the personality, but you absolutely have to have the talent first. That's the initial thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
So talent. So what kind of personality? I mean, you said humble, kind.
Yeah, humble, kind, hardworking.
Okay.
Thankfully, I've worked in the music industry, so I know a lot of the backgrounds in radio broadcasting. I know how to use audio equipment. I can step into any DJ booth and use any kind of equipment. And that's the key to DJing, is knowing how to use all the equipment and understanding how it all works and how to connect all your DJ equipment together too on the fly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Very important.
So what do you have in your house? Do you buy your own equipment, or there's already, you just use whatever that is there at whatever place that you're going? Do you bring your own
typically an established place will already have good equipment.
Okay.
But 50 or 75% of the time, places that aren't very well established or they really don't care about the music there, you will have to bring your own equipment.
Okay.
So I do have my own equipment and I bring it. And certain gigs, you know, like let's say a place like retail, like the Market Line or Nordstrom, they won't have their own DJ equipment. So I'll
Okay.
have to bring my own.
Oh, what kind of, I mean, like what, do you read any kind of books on music or anything? Or you like, what gets you, I mean, what do you read in the,
Yeah, so I read a lot of entrepreneurship books.
okay, got it.
Like aside from DJing, I love being creative and making things, learning about entrepreneurship. You know, someone like Gary Vee, I've read his book.
Okay.
And I forget the name of the owner of. I'm sorry, they're like banging on top of my ceiling right now.
That's
For
fine.
some reason, my neighbor, he's I don't know, maybe building a bed or something.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so Gary Vee is one of the main entrepreneurs I look up to and read his book, listen to his podcast.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What about do you have like a morning routine that you guys since you're an entrepreneur, you have a morning routine? I mean, most people don't have a set schedule, so you're like all over the place. How do you determine like what your morning routines are?
Right. Well, it all depends on the type of gig that I have for that day.
Okay.
So I have to basically prepare all my equipment for the week coming, whether it be my DJ gigs or my photo booth. And Sunday is kind of the prep day. After I'm done with all my gigs, Sunday, I make sure I back up all my music on external. I fill up all my business cards and throw them in all my backpacks and then make sure that all my equipment is working properly.
Okay.
And then from there on out, I have to check my schedule and make flyers for each and every event that I'm doing.
Okay. So you have a lot of prepping involved.
A lot of prepping. And also while I'm doing these gigs, I also record myself. So I try to do my best to record myself and videotape, you know, when I'm DJing or when I'm talking or speaking in public. It's very important that I document everything that I do. Yeah, and that'll just be an example for weddings, for my corporate gigs, holiday parties, etc.
Wow.
So basically, it's just a lot of planning. Plan ahead.
Poon, in terms of the pandemic, how has it changed the business?
Yeah, I mean, for a whole year, we weren't DJing in clubs or anything, so everything was pretty much online.
Okay.
And most DJs, we have been spinning on Twitch, which is a live streaming service.
Okay.
And it's a platform where people could kind of like on Zoom, they could go on the chat, talk, and then also listen to the music as well.
Okay.
But now that, say, for example, New York City has been opening up in real life, clubs are opening, retail's opening up. It's starting to get back to where it was in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Not completely, but yeah, it's definitely, I would say I appreciate it a lot more than I used to since we were missing a whole year of it. But as far as being different, I forget about a lot of songs that I used to play. That's for one. That's for one. Yeah. And now I think that we're more patient with what we do.
I understand that you have a photo booth company. So
yeah, so I
tell
have
us
a
about
photo
that.
booth company. It's called Poon Booth. And basically I cater to clubs, birthdays, weddings. I've done a dog party and just a lot of my friends' birthdays. So aside from DJing and having the photo booth, I also design my own clothes and I also event plan. So I kind of just tie everything together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or into your business.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, man.
My pleasure.